Let's talk about another company in focus, and that is, of course, the largest chip manufacturer, Taiwan Semiconductor. They did report their results, and no surprise here, a big jump on quarterly revenue, 45% year on year. You're seeing the stock move lower right now, down about 2%. It did get a bump, though, from the company raising its sales outlook with an implied growth of more than 30% for the year. And Brian, this story really is it feels like a broken record here, but the continued line is demand is there. It will remain sustained, everything from smartphones to TV to cars, but the supply chain challenges keep piling up. And we've talked about now the lockdown over in China with those new COVID cases popping up in major hubs like Shanghai. You've also got the Russia-Ukraine war and some key components that go into chips, including neon gas. Ukraine being the big supplier there. So all those hiccups are starting to add up. And here's a number that I think really stood out to me. TSMC saying that it's going to spend at least $40 billion to address the chip shortage. So they've got plenty of demand, plenty of business coming in. Just the question is whether they can meet that demand because they don't have the supply.
Yeah, and a reminder to our viewers that TSM is so important. I mean, we talk about NVIDIA, we talk about Intel a lot, but I mean, it's really TSM that's running the gamut here in the chips business. I mean, Taiwan's known for two things, stinky tofu and then chips themselves. But when it comes to Taiwan Semiconductor specifically, I mean, I'm looking at their gross profits, 3 straight quarters of back-to-back growth. Profits up 44% year over year on a gross level for this company. But what's interesting is that the chip stocks broadly, and I'm looking, for example, at the PHLX Semiconductor Index. That's been down 20% year to date. TSM down 18%. You see similar trends in most of the other chip stocks as well. Even though they're selling fewer chips, the margins are getting bigger because it's getting more expensive. But it's interesting, and LPL Financial kind of pointed this out first, that these stocks haven't been loved over the last year to date. So I think that's really interesting to watch, a thread that maybe suggests they're undervalued. Again, I'm no analyst here, but it just seems very interesting that that move has been more outsized than, let's say, for example, the financials, which have also had a tough 2022 to date. So very interesting to see on that front. We'll see if maybe other earnings, maybe they just got to really knock it out of the park in the next few quarters or see a lifting of the COVID restrictions to really fly loose.
Yeah, I mean, the bar's certainly high for not just Taiwan Semi, but Samsung as well, which is the second largest manufacturer. So that's why we keep mentioning those names.